Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled people. In today's episode, Karen doesn't like people parking in front of her house. Entitled friends asking us to sell my husband's car. Lady majorly breaches sauna etiquette during peak hour. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Karen doesn't like people parking in front of her house. So, when I was around 6 years old, I lived with my family in a nice house in a small city in Poland. It was a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts and pretty much all the neighbors knew each other. There was no sidewalks around the part of the street I lived at. Only one crappy sidewalk that started on the other side in front of my neighbor's house. It's important to remember that the sidewalk was very old and in bad shape. Still to this day people are asking the city to fix it. This story is about that neighbor, Karen. She was an older lady. Everyone suspected that she really didn't have anything better to do than gather gossip and disturb everyone trying to rule the street. Everyone was commenting that if you wanted to get the whole area to know something, you had to tell her that message as a secret. Whenever someone came to visit us, they usually parked their car in front of our property. But on bigger meetups, like barbecues or parties, people would park in front of our closest neighbors' houses too. That never was a problem, no gates were obstructed, and no one was disturbed. Well, almost. Karen hated when someone parked in front of her house. She would always run out yelling about how we dared to park our filthy cars on her precious sidewalk. My mother is not someone that lets someone yell at her. She had many discussions with Karen about the laws and rules that stated that she doesn't own anything outside her fence. Which means that the sidewalk is public and anyone can park on it as long as they leave enough space for a wheelchair to pass. That wasn't enough. Every time someone would come to us and park their car there, the yelling would start. Until one time when my mother's friend, Tomek, came for a coffee during winter. He's a local policeman and his specialty is road law. So my mother tells him about Karen and her behavior regarding the sidewalk. Tomek laughs since that thing was in such a bad shape that it can barely be even called sidewalk. When he was leaving, he assured my mom that he would step by next day for a coffee on his lunch break. Next day comes by and I was playing with my brother in the snow. We see a black car pulling over in front of Karen's house and, as the driver gets out, Karen storms out of her house yelling, "Kay, you can't park here. This is my sidewalk. Get your filthy car off my prop." Well, there he was, Tomek, with his full uniform, hat and all, turning around towards Karen as comically as he could. Excuse me? You tell me that I can't park my car here? Kay, why yes. But this is a sidewalk open to the public. Kay, yes, this is my sidewalk. So, let me get this right. This is your sidewalk? Kay, yes. And you are the one responsible for taking care of it? Kay, probably, well, yes I am. That's why I don't allow anyone to park here. Oh, that's so nice that I found you. Since it's your sidewalk, you are responsible for clearing the snow from it to not create danger for the people walking on it. Since it was not plowed, I need to write you a fine for endangering public safety. He says as he pulls out his note block. Kay, but no other sidewalks are plowed. Oh, it doesn't matter, the other sidewalks belong to the city, the clearing crew is working on cleaning them. But since this sidewalk is yours, it's your responsibility. Kay, but I'm old, I can't shovel the snow. Then you need to hire someone to do that. Of course, if this sidewalk happened to be of public property. Kay, yes, it's not mine. But a moment ago you were yelling at me that it was. So what is it? Is it yours or not? Because I don't know if I should fine you now. Kay, no, it's not mine. Alright, seems like we cleared that up. Now, if you ever harass anyone like you did with me, it could result in a fine. So I recommend you watching out on what you claim to be yours. And then he proceeded to cross the street and enjoy a coffee in our house. Karen never disturbed anyone for parking in front of her house again. She would only stare at people trying to burn holes in their skulls with her sight. Ha ha. I like your friend. Well played. Yeah, it's very convenient to know a cop, especially if he is assigned to your area. So the parking Karens are an international sisterhood? I lived in 3 countries so far. There have been parking Karens in every single one. So yeah, you can't escape them, no matter where you move. Entitled friends asking us to sell my husband's car. So this story happened around 7 years ago. My husband, DH35M, and I, 31F, were dating for a year. He was invited to a wedding of his 2 friends from uni. For the story they will be EG34M and EB33F. EG was actually my husband's roommate for a year, and from what he told me they were very close and friends with his parents too. So DH asked me to be +1 to wedding. We went and it was a wedding where no money was saved. It was in the garden of an expensive hotel, like Hilton, and with full course meal, lots of drinks etc. We were seated to a table far away from the bride and groom, not close to family and friends' tables also. DH also didn't know anyone on the table. I was a bit irked, but DH is a bit naive, so we gave our gifts and danced, had overall good time. After wedding we learned that couple went to Maldives for a month for honeymoon. 2 weeks after the honeymoon, EG calls my husband and asks for a loan. He tells that his father's company is not going well and due to some tax reasons his father named EG as the owner, so he has a lot of debt. His wife also doesn't have any savings, they just bought her a car. DH tells him that he doesn't have much also, he can only spare €1,000 but not more. EG tells him to sell his car and give them the money. DH comes and asks my opinion, he says they are in bad place etc. I'm like, audacity they have, and OFC explained him they shouldn't have so expensive wedding if they have money problems. And why don't they sell their own car? At the end, he didn't give any money and we never heard from them again. Still puzzles me though, how can you be so entitled to ask someone to sell your car to pay your debt? Trust me, he didn't lose a friend, he lost a user. Anyone oblivious enough to have a large expensive wedding and honeymoon and then ask for money from friends is not worth having in your lives. This supposed gifted business will be closed within a few years, because the owners haven't got a clue of how to budget their money. You are right, they were both users. And they filed bankruptcy that year. I'm more concerned that your husband actually considered it. Thank goodness he ran it by her first. But still concerning that he considered it. If you were nice friends you would have bought them a new car. I mean, 2 cars, 1 pink and 1 blue. Smiley face. Lady majorly breaches sauna etiquette during peak hour. The gym/health club I go to has a recovery area containing a sauna and steam room that have both been closed since Christmas Eve until Monday for renovations and maintenance. The sauna is not very big and has 3-tiered benches that are all L-shaped. Yesterday evening after my workout during the afternoon peak I went to use the sauna. I opened the door and step in, and the sauna is almost entirely full. There's a 50-year-old lady lying down on her back on the top row with her hands fully extended behind her. She was taking up the space about 5 people could fit into. There were only 2 spots left on the bottom row for me to sit down in. The other spot is quickly taken and a couple more people come in and have to stand on the small amount of floor in the room. After about 10 minutes, with multiple people leaving/entering but the sauna still staying consistently at capacity, the lady finally sits up and quite rudely tells a group of guys on the benches below her to move so she can leave. This lady gets down to the ground, walks over to the door, pauses, farts, opens it and leaves. The group of guys went off. Apparently this lady had been asked multiple times to sit up so other people could be in the top row and she refused each time. She then got quite snippy, saying that she was there first so she didn't have to move, and then completely ignored any further attempts of people politely asking her to make room. Taking up more space than you need when a sauna is at full capacity is already kind of shitty, but intentionally letting it rip in a hot, stuffy, and cramped room full of people? I'm still pissed off about it today. Who does that? There's certainly a whiff of entitlement there. It definitely sent a message. Why not report her to staff? In hindsight, absolutely should have. Gotta admit, I was totally appalled by the old lady's behavior until she crop dusted the lot of you. She wins this round. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.